magic. You can feel it in the air, in the altitude. Feel it when you can't breathe.
Life in a barrel. Life in a barrel. Life in a barrel.
What it do, Broncos country, and welcome to Life in a Barrel. Inspired by the legacy of the late Broncos superfan Tim Barrelman McKernan, we seek to give you raw, educated, unfiltered Denver Broncos news takes and opinions. I'm your host. I go by the name of Town, and joining me every week, like always, my brother, my partner in crime. Please welcome Tariq Hatchet Young to the show. Hey, Reek, how you living, brother?
Life is good.
Life is good.
Life is good. You know, it's almost draft time. Couldn't be more excited to see the next prospects make their way into the NFL. You know, hopefully the Broncos get some good picks, but, you know, I'm excited to be here on another episode. Keep subscribing, keep watching. Let's do the damn thing.
Yeah, exactly, man. You know, my little man played his first football game. They were down at halftime, and they ended up coming back and winning 34-31. Won on a last-minute 2-point conversion.
He said, let me lock in real quick. He had to sit up in his chair. It was like, it's go time.
Yep. Little man was out there balling, man. And then, you know, in practice this week, I saw a different level in him. So I'm a proud football dad right now. We'll just leave it at that.
He is meant to be a linebacker.
He just might be. But here is our weekly reminder that we are hosting a Denver Broncos jersey giveaway when our YouTube channel reaches 100 subscribers. So make sure to lock in with us there if you want the opportunity to win a Broncos jersey of your choice. So, yeah, you know, quit being a hater.
Don't hate, appreciate. If you don't like free stuff, then there's something wrong with you. That's the way I see it. Like, who wouldn't want a free Bronco jersey?
That's just a grade A hater at that point. If you ain't even trying to take something for free, like,
yeah, like, why you not rocking with us? That's crazy. Come rock with your boys.
All right. Well, we are at the point in the NFL season where news is not super abundant. We are between the high dollar contracts of free agency and Commissioner Roger Goodell walking on stage to announce the first pick in the NFL draft. And it's quiet. This is the time where, you know, scouting departments are dialing in on the sleepers, and the owners, coaches, and front offices are meeting to discuss potential rule changes. And just like every year in the NFL, there were some changes made this year at the annual meetings. The first one that we're going to touch on is rescinding of the restriction that onside kicks are only allowed in the fourth quarter when you're trailing. This unfortunately doesn't allow for Sean Payton's surprise onside kick like he pulled in the Saints Super Bowl win, since they now have to declare it still. But what are your thoughts, Reek?
I don't think he should have to declare the onside kick. I get it. They're trying to test out all these new rules and everything. But when it comes to the special teams, like that aspect, especially if you're down, you shouldn't have to. Just go out there and do what you got to do. But, you know, they want to keep the game equal to everybody on special teams, I guess. But I don't like it. You shouldn't have to declare.
And I think I don't like that you have to declare it either. I'll preface by saying that, but it's a logical thing to why they have to do it, because with the alignments of the new kickoff rules, since they started doing it with the, you know, the landing zones and everything, you have to declare an onside kick, so that allows them to come up and be outside of that zone. So I mean, it's logistically, I get it. Football wise, I think it's stupid. But
I think they should just take. I think if you're gonna do it onside, I think they should just take it away and do like how the UFL does. You know, you start on your opposite 40 or whatever, and you got to get to the other 40 or however they do it. Might as well do that as an onside kick.
I agree with that. Like, but personally, just like looking at the rule that they did, the fact that you don't have to wait till the fourth quarter now, I think that's a good rule. Again, I don't like that you have to declare it, but, you know, I'm of the crowd that thinks you should be able to choose whether you go for an onside kick or have something like a 4th and 20. And if you convert that, you get to retain possession of the ball. I think that would really spice up the game and make it more interesting.
Yes, sir.
There were also some changes made to the overall alignment requirements during kickoffs, and also removes the incentive for the kicking team to kick the ball out of bounds when kicking off from the 50, which does not happen often. I mean, overall, there's nothing crazy here. This stuff is going to be so minuscule and barely noticed that it was changed. I don't even feel the need to discuss it. Do you have any commentary on it?
The teams were just finding loopholes. That's all it was. They said, "We gonna do it like this then."
Yeah, no, like they need to regulate this because
There was definitely loopholes on it because they kicked to the 50. They'd be doing it on purpose, kicking the ball out of bounds or something. So they were like, "Nah, we gotta fix this."
Yeah, exactly. But there was one big rule change that happened that really caught the media's attention, and it caught mine too, because this could lead to some potentially good and bad things for the NFL. Owners are agreeing to allow the officiating office in New York to step in and correct decisions made by referees in real time and enforce penalties retroactively. What are your thoughts on that one, Reed?
I know it's going to be an interesting season. First, I'd like to say that because I heard there's a little tension going on with the NFL and the refs that they're trying to figure out their deal right now. But when it comes to this, I think it would be good for like the part on if they investigate like, oh, should this penalty result into somebody being ejected?
Mm-hmm.
But you also got to be careful because you never know. New York just be like, oh, let's favor the other team. Let's say this wasn't a penalty or something. So there's good and bads to it.
Yeah, definitely. This is a huge one. Every game, several times a game. How many times are we saying, damn, that should have been a penalty? Or why wasn't that a penalty? I feel like this is a step in the right direction to fixing that. I would eventually like to see full-time referees who actually know the game as their full job, so we don't have to continually worry about this type of thing where, not only are the refs potentially going on strike where we might have to get replacement refs in to take care of the games, but the refs that they're replacing don't do their job correct in the first place. Literally the equivalent of the MLB umps that are mad as hell right now that they're doing the automated strike zone.
They got to get it right because you bring the replacement refs in, you're going to have a 2012 problem all over again with Green Bay and Seattle. Well, one ref said it was a touchdown and the other one was like, nah. So, hey, they're going to have to figure it out. I think one rule I think one that they should bring back is reviewing pass interference, though. I think that's one they definitely need to bring back.
Yeah, I agree with that. Riley Moss really would have benefited from that last year.
Because some of those, I was like, that's not pass interference. Like, come on.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, football is a hard sport to referee and maintain order in because everything happens so fast. It's all bang, bang plays that you have to decide with your eyes in real time if it was a penalty or not. And a lot of times there's mistakes and you can't go back and fix those mistakes. There's no, oh, I got that wrong. Let me put this flag away after the penalty's been called. And, there's going to be good and bad to this. I raised the question, just like you brought up, when is New York going to be chiming in? Is it going to be on little ticky-tack shit? Or is it just going to be when the refs call for help or a team calls for help? Or, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of red tape that needs to be defined here. But again, I think this is a step in the right direction.
We'll see how it goes, especially for the big games. I think the big games is where we're going to have to really pay attention to on how they officiate it, especially with New York looking at everything.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be paying real close attention to them Gene Steratore comments during the game, man.
Especially them Chiefs games.
Yes, especially them Chiefs games. Oh man. But during the annual meetings, we also had the Payton brothers, head coach Sean Payton and general manager George Payton, speaking publicly. They gave some insight into their free agent strategy, Sean Payton more gave some insight into his free agent strategy, as well as the Jalen Waddle trade. Sean Payton was his usual self, but he did have some gems into what they were thinking. Here's what he had to say. We tune out the angst. There was a lot of angst when we selected Bo, where we selected him. There was a lot of angst when we made quite a few of these decisions. You have to tune that out. I think in fairness, and I recognize that everyone would say, hey, you have Bo on his rookie deal. Well, no kidding. but just do the research. You go back in that first week of free agency, and if you're batting 380 or 395, it's about where the numbers lie. And if you went back 5 years from now, just go backwards and said, would they do it again? The point is, though, you have to apply some patience and have a good plan. We recognize where we are at and understand exactly where we are at with Bo's contract, our team, and yet the mistake that 2/3 of the teams make is trying to win the day, win the draft day, win the hiring cycle day, win the free agency day. We are interested in winning. That's why our fan base is extremely important to us, but we are going to do what we think is best for our team to be better when this puzzle is finished at the end of, call it June. Then what do we look like at that point? When Sean Payton was asked about running it back, he got defensive. He said, I hate that term. It's not, let's run it back. Let's understand one thing. Is it anything but that? That time of the season has been marketed right in front of every one of our eyes. What is the next word that comes after free agency? Frenzy. Frenzy is what you don't want. Frenzy implies that it has to happen. Chaos. Oh, insert Trump noise. It's all marketing. Be steady, right decision. What's our plan? Stick with our plan. Tune out the noise. What are your thoughts on his comments there, responding to free agency?
I get what he's trying to say, but there's still holes in our team that need to be filled. And we haven't looked at any additional help. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand drafting those players that can help fill those holes, but there's still a lot of veteran talent out there too that can also help develop the young guys on our team. Because say the draft, whoever we draft in the draft doesn't work out, you're gonna sit there like, damn, maybe I should have went to go get a guy in the free agency. Like, you never know.
Yeah.
But I think we're at the point where he's like, yeah, he's okay with what he's got, even though there's room for improvement. I don't know. There's a lot of good free agency prospects still left out there, like I said, and we haven't really signed nobody, even though we have the money for it.
Yeah. Honestly, listening to what he said, he makes a lot of good points. A lot of teams do overspend and overextend in free agency. That's just a part of the game. You want to stay level-headed with all the decisions that you make. But here's my issue, Sean Payton. You want to talk about free agency frenzy. Any real fan in Denver was not asking for a free agency frenzy. We were asking for smart moves that made this team better. And during free agency, we did not get that. All we got was a run it back mentality. As much as hearing that pisses you off, that's what we got. Let's think about it really. In free agency, you made your team worse. The team did not get better. And just dismissing Broncos country, just like we fell victim to the marketing of expecting a massive free agency haul, is asinine. We get it, Sean Payton. You're the smartest person in the room. But does that necessarily mean Broncos country's dumb? I don't think so.
We don't gotta pay all that money for a high prospect, yeah. But at the same time, like I said, there's still holes filled. There's Cameron Jordan still. Calais Campbell's out there. We gotta find somebody to help in that middle of the line. We just lost PJ Locke. Justin Simmons can always get called.
I'm curious if there's something personal between Justin Simmons and Sean Payton, and that's why it hasn't happened. I'm also curious as to why the Von Miller signing hasn't happened. That's coming from not only Von himself, but Broncos country. Broncos country is screaming out for Von, bring him home for one last rodeo.
One last time. Come on, Sean.
Yep.
I'm gonna need you to lock in.
Yep, exactly. Need you to get our GOAT back for one last time. Let's send him out on a high note.
Especially because I'm hearing Bo's ahead of schedule on his recovery and everything. Yeah.
Okay. I like that. But the big move of the offseason didn't happen in free agency. It happened via trade immediately after the giant waves of free agency of not doing anything. That was the Jalen Waddle trade. When Coach Sean Payton was asked about the Jalen Waddle trade, he had this to say. We spent a lot of time looking at that selection, pick 30, and trying to determine who we would pick. We could safely say that pick could have been one of these 7 or 8 players. We didn't feel like that pick would help us as much as Jalen Waddle. With regards to the player, he is explosive. I think if you ask me, the single biggest thing that he does well is he's extremely fast and he stops fast. He can sink his hips in transition. He went on to say they did their research on Waddle long before they made the trade. General manager George Payton echoed this. He said, obviously, we did a lot of work on him. All the coaches did, the scouts. We had done a lot of work on him at the trade deadline. We felt like we knew the player well. We knew the person even better. So we felt really good about the trade. You look at the caliber of free agent class. You look at the caliber of the draft class. Who could we get at number 30 within the draft class? Then you factor in salary cap and the finances, not just this year, but down the road. The fact that he's 27 years old, the fact that it was number 30, it wasn't number 16. We compared it to all the other trades the last 10 years with the first round pick. And the value we felt was number 26. That's the value we gave them. You look into all of that when you make the trade. You look into all of that when you make a trade like this. What are your thoughts hearing them talk about this trade and the amount of research they put into it?
I think it's good that they actually took the time to find if Jalen Waddle was their guy. And he absolutely is their guy. I wish they would have worked it out last year and got him. But hey, like, there's great draft prospects in the draft this year. But I don't blame them for giving away the first round pick because I still think there's going to be great prospects in the second round that they could get. So I'm not mad at them for giving away the first round pick.
Yeah.
It's a win-win in my eyes.
Definitely. Hearing the amount of research that they put into a move like this, it honestly puts me at ease with how I feel about the free agency moves. That I think they really knocked this one out of the park. I'm just praying they're able to find use in their offense to really unlock not just Jalen, but Bo. I feel like this could be a big key for the entire offense. Really what's about to happen, because, we could potentially see the best version of Bo Nix this year.
MVP Nix, I'm calling it now.
But I don't just say that just so, orange and blue tinted glasses. I say that as, Sean Payton has explicitly said that it takes 3 years to really learn how to master his offense. And Bo's entering his third year. He now has a legitimate wide receiver room. And, that's something that he hasn't had. Give that man a tight end in a running game. My God, what is this offense going to look like?
The floodgates are about to open. That's all I can say.
Definitely. And I was not aware that this was almost a trade deadline move. I really wasn't. I honestly wish they had done it. We could have used a weapon like him in the playoffs. And, even in the AFC Championship game with Jarrett Stidham, he could have used a weapon like Waddle.
Most definitely he could have. But now we got him. It's time to lock in, do what we got to do. Year 3, Bo's going to be scary.
Yeah.
And I think people should be very afraid of that because he's coming back with a chip on his shoulder to prove to everybody, especially the media, that he's more than fully capable of winning this team a championship.
I feel like it's one of those things the team knows they were close. The team knows they were just a fucking broken ankle away from the Super Bowl, man.
And that's going to make them even more hungry of their season. And I like that.
Yep. George Payton also gave an insight into how the Broncos feel about the running back room coming into the draft and whether or not it might be a position of need. He said, we are going to be looking in the draft and we are going to be looking after the draft. We are always looking. We didn't sign JK until May or June last year. We feel good with where we're at right now. What are your thoughts on that?
I think we still need a big back. I think we need a heavy set back. We need a bruiser that's going to get us some tough yards because I feel like all of our running backs are undersized. So we can get one of them bruisers. They ain't going to have a choice but to respect the run. And I think that's truly what we're missing in that running back room. Don't get me wrong. I love Jaleel, Bidet, RJ. We just don't got no size. We don't got no size like that.
Yeah, we got patient runners.
Yeah, we got patient runners. We ain't got I'm gonna run through that head type runner.
Yeah, exactly. And in terms of his comments, that he's not going to divulge too much of their plan right now. They like to keep their cards close to the vest, but it's undeniable that they're looking that way. They're meeting with the top 5 running backs in this class. You know, I doubt they'll be able to reach the top of that running back class. They don't have a first round pick. So they'll really have to do their research, which I have to trust.
They have some big choices to make in the second round, whether they want to go linebacker, running back, or possibly tight end. So,
or even possibly trade up.
Or that too as well. So,
or trade back. You never know.
They got a lot to think about. It's a game of chess, not checkers. That's the way I think about it.
Yeah, definitely a chess, not checkers type of game. Coach Jones says all the time, football is not a stupid man's sport.
You got to be very, very intelligent to play the game.
Yep. Definitely do. And that is about all the time that we have for today's episode. Reek, before we head out of here, any place these folks can find you on the socials?
Reek.season on the gram. Go follow. But like we keep telling y'all, go subscribe to the YouTube for the free jersey. Stop being cheap. Now, stop being lame, shall I say. Not cheap, because it's for free.
Yeah. Stop being a hater.
Exactly. You're acting like a Raider, and I don't like that. Yeah, that's bars.
Y'all acting like Gary.
Yeah, you're acting like Gary. I hate Gary. Just because he's a Raiders fan. That's the only reason why I hate him.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, y'all heard the man. Reek.season on Instagram. Make sure you give that boy a follow. But make sure you subscribe to that YouTube channel. Another reminder, once we get to 100 subscribers, we will be launching the Broncos jersey giveaway. So let all you people know they have an opportunity to score some free Broncos gear, courtesy of Life in a Barrel. And as for me, you can find me on all social media at town.5280. Please make sure to give me a follow. If you're listening on Spotify, please make sure to hit that follow button and give us a rating. Life in a Barrel is also on Instagram and TikTok at Life in a Barrel Pod on both platforms. But until next time, where we go over what we feel the offensive needs are in the draft, for Reek, for Town, for Broncos Country, we'll catch y'all next week. Peace.
Life in a barrel. Life in a barrel. Life in a barrel.